So here we go. So what this is basically stating is this L is actually a matrix. I couldn't write it correctly. I was limited to what I got. So that's what this is. And you're simply just asked to apply this transformation to a point. So all that means is you're just going to multiply this matrix to this point. So you can turn this as a 2 by 1 matrix. And how do we multiply matrices? Row by column. So this would be row times column. So 3 times 4, -2 times 1, 12 minus 2. Row times column. 1 times 4, 1 times 1, 4 plus 1. Questions? All right. After that, there is going to be some graphing, so do be able to graph it. So I'm going to simply graph point P. So that's just going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. So this is P. Even if it's written like a vector here, remember this is still written like 10 comma 5. So I'll just continue that one. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 10, 5. Here's P prime, or whatever it labels it as. So questions on how to use a transformation to find a new point or how to graph. You'll be given a graph on the test. You just got to plot correctly. So make sure you can plot correctly. All right, and we'll move on to number 2 then. Number 2 is y'all's favorite. It's a word problem, but it's a relatively simple word problem and not one that we saw the first time we took the mid-module test. This one's simple. It just says, at a sandwich shop, the price of 2 large, 1 medium, and 1 small sandwich is $48. The price of 1 large, 2 small sandwiches is $32. And the price of 1 large, 2 mediums, and 2 small sandwiches is $58. It tells you that X, Y, and Z represent the prices of large, medium, and small sandwiches, respectively. It says write the matrix as AXB, meaning write a matrix, a 3 by 3 matrix. That's what A would be. And it's pretty straightforward. Read left to right. So it'd just be 2, 1, 1. That'd be the first row. The second row would be 1, 0, 2. Now, why would it be 0, 2? Anyone know? There's no medium, right? It's a 1 large, 2 small. So that means I have 0 mediums. And then the last one would be 1, 2, 2. That would be the A. So this would be A. The X is simply just going to be X, Y, Z. That's what X is. All right. The B would be what all of these little formulas are equal to. So in this concept, it would be 48, 32, and 58. So any questions on how to write this out? All right. To solve it, so that's what you got to do in part B, is you take the inverse of your 3 by 3 matrix. I'm going to rewrite it. And I put the little -1 when I type it into the calculator. And then I multiply it to my B, which in this case is 48, 32, 58. So this is basically like your A inverse, and this is your B. So if you like to grab a calculator and just practice making sure you can type in a 3 by 3 matrix with the -1 times the 3 by 1 matrix, go ahead and do that. And let's see what kind of answer y'all get. If you flip it and you try to do the 3 by 1 times the 3 by 3, it won't work. We'll come up with error. So if that reminds you to do the big thing is make sure you do the -1 for the 3 by 3.
Can I help you?
Just checking to see if you have anybody we need.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Is that what you are pointing at? Okay. Everything good? Okay. 6. I don't count today. All right, we get an answer. What answer did y'all get? Ooh, both are incorrect. Yes, you multiply them and make sure you have a -1 as the inverse. Huh. I got a 10, 6, 8. But 10 times 2 is 20. 6 times 1 is 6. 8 times 1 is 8. So that'd be 8, 14, 44. Ooh. Right. So that'd be 20, 26, 34. Ooh. I must have did it wrong then. All right. So, okay. So what did y'all end up getting? And 29 over 3? All right. Let's make sure that works. So that'd be, 38 times 2 is 76. 76 over 3. 76 plus 29. 105. 105 divided by 3 would be 35. 35 plus 13 would be 48. Yeah, that works. Yeah, I must have typed something in wrong because I got nice pretty numbers. I got 10, 6, 8. But that's perfect. Yeah. So now it might make you make like a decimal or something because you are dealing with money. So let's just practice doing that real quick. 38 divided by 3 would be what as a decimal? Oh, 67. There you go. Right, but for money purposes, you always go to the hundredths place. And then 13 is this 13. And then 29 divided by 3 would be, is that right? There you go. So that's how much each little sandwich would be worth. Any questions on number 2? All right. I don't know. Didn't say it was a realistic word problem. All right. The next one is just vector operations. So you're going to have to graph A, B, and then A plus B and 2A minus B. So we'll start off by just finding our A plus B and our 2A minus B. And then I need to remind y'all on how to graph vectors. It's not just a coordinate, it's a little arrow thing. All right, so A plus B, how would I add 2 vectors? Right, just add up the x's, add up the y's, right? So 3 plus -1, 2 plus 4. Perfect. Then work out 2A minus B, so 2 times 3 minus -1. 7, very good. 2 times 2 minus 4, 0. All right, so this is how you graph it. It says to graph A, B, A plus B, and 2A minus B. So I'm going to go graph A first. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So it's very similar to graphing a coordinate. The only thing with vectors, though, You add the little arrow ray. All right, and that's it. Then we'll graph B. B is -1, 4. So this is A. This would be B. A plus B would be 2, 6. So here's A plus B. And then 2A minus B would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, something like that. So any questions on how to graph a vector? All right, it's just like graphing a coordinate. You just have to add the ray to it from the origin. So we're good? All right, number 4, it is a multiple choice question. So it's not 4 parts. But you're asked to translate this parabola by this vector. It's very similar to the linear equation we did when we first went over this in, I don't know, like lesson 18 or something like that. All you have to do is pick a coordinate off of this parabola, and the best one to pick is the vector. Now, you might not remember what the vector is of a parabola. Not vector, sorry, vertex. The vertex is h comma k. So in this case, it's always going to be the opposite of what's inside the parentheses. So what is the opposite of 2? So my vector here would be -2. K gets to be the same, so k would be -1. So -2 comma -1 would be the vertex of this parabola. All you have to do is just add this point to the vector to get a new vertex. So that's all you got to do. So mathematically, once you get the correct vertex, write it in vertex form, and then just add it to, not vector form, and then just add the vectors up. So -2 plus -3, -5, -1 plus 4, 3. So your new vector, once you've applied this, your new vector, nope. Your new vertex, when applying this vector, would become -5 comma 3. The only thing you have to do, make sure you plug it in correctly. Since h is opposite, this -5 would become a what? +5. So that would mean all of those are all correct. And then this 3, what happens to the 3? It stays the same. So it'd be +3. It is the same thing. So the answer technically is A and D. I think I was supposed to probably make that +3. That's my fault. I mean, a -3. All right, but so regardless, it won't be like that on the test. It won't have 2 of the same answers, but that's what you're looking for. Go ahead. Mhm. The vector, the vertex. Yeah, so the new vertex, so a parabola is written as y equals x minus h squared plus k. That's its like parent function. So when I found the original vertex and then added the new vector to it, what I got was the new vertex, which is still my h and k. So I replugged that back into this parent function to get these 2 answers. It's supposed to be just 1, but those 2. Because just like with, go ahead. Oh no, H is inside the parentheses, K is on the outside. The H basically changes the sign. The K gets to keep the same thing. But just like the linear functions, if we move one number, we get the new linear equation. Same thing with a quadratic. If I'm going to add that vector to all points, I can add it to the vertex as well, and it's just as easy. So we're good? All right. Number 5, it talks about the vector magnitude and components. Remember, when it's given to you like this, it says given vector CD from point C to D, and you're asked to find the component. The component is x2 minus x1, comma, y2 minus y1. All right. Now it's very specific on what you label as your first and second point. Jacob, if the phone's going to become a distraction to others. Since C came first, this has to be the x1, y1. And since D came last, this then will be x2, y2. All right. Understand the labeling there? Yes, x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1. All right, so now to find the correct component form, I'm going to do the actual math. So 6 minus 2, 4. 3 minus negative 1, also 4. Very good. So there's your component form. Now, once you have the correct component form, remember to find the magnitude. It's just the square root of a squared plus b squared. This is now technically your a and your b. So now I'm just going to do 4 squared plus 4 squared. What's 4 squared? So what's 16 plus 16? Very good. Now, I could, again, remind you of how to reduce this fraction, but now that we know some calculator techniques from the EOY, if you don't see the square root of 32 as an answer choice, just type that one in with the rest of them and see which one gives you the same decimal. I can give you a reminder. What two things multiply to 32? Good, 2 and 16. I only say that because 16 is a perfect square. So what's the square root of 16? 4. And then the leftover is 2. You could do 4 and 8, but then you would have to break down 8 into 2 and 4, and then you would have 2 perfect squares there. Oh, you could just type in the square root of 32, get a decimal, then type out your answer choice and see which one gives you the same decimal. Just like you did on the EOY. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Sorry about that. Yes. And then y'all also asked if this could replace your lowest test grade. And I said yes to that, minus the EOY. Will not replace the EOY. But it will replace any of the other ones because this one does cover the entire semester. So I am okay with that. Yes. I'll add 5 points. All right. Any others? Okay. So any questions on number 5? All right. I never said it could replace the EOI. Yeah, it can. But it can replace any of the other ones because this test does cover all those mini tests as well. Yeah. All right, number 6, it's a vector equivalent. You're given a three-dimensional vector, and you're just simply asked, show either AB equals PQ. And the way you do that is you simply just find your AB by doing the same math. So the same math for this one would just be x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, z2 minus z1. That's the only difference with a three-dimensional vector. So in this case, what is 5 minus 1? 4. 6 minus 2? 4. 7 minus 3? All right, and then you just got to do PQ next. So therefore, again, since Q's second, I go Q minus P. So 2 minus negative 2? Positive 4. 4 minus 0? 4. 5 minus 1? 4. So are these two vectors equivalent? Yes. By distance and direction. If they would all been negative, it would have been the same distance, just different direction. So any questions on 5 or 6? Do you have, all we did was just take the, Do I need to split all y'all up, guys? Guys, we're about to be seniors next year. Should probably start prepping for that. Yes. No, so if it's like A and B, you want to take the B minus the A. So you always have, so this is like your X1, Y1, Z1. And since the B came second, this would be X2, Y2, Z2.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah. So you take the second letter minus the first letter. All right, number 7 is just discussing vector addition and direction. So let's remind you how to find the vector so you can figure out the addition to it. To find out the vector, given the magnitude and the theta, it is r cosine theta, comma, r sine theta. So if you're given the magnitude and you're given the angle, you can plug it in there to figure out what its vector would be. So for V, this would be 8 cosine. Now you can't just plug in 45. Sometimes you can. This says northeast. So let's see if you remember from those last few. This is north, east, south, west. So if I'm 45 degrees northeast, there's my 45 degrees. Okay, so we're good there? All right, so if that's my 45 degrees, it's actually 45 degrees on the unit circle, so I can plug 45 degrees into the calculator. So let's look at the next one. You could do 50 degrees as well. But on this next one here, notice it's 30 degrees southeast. Southeast would be this direction. So if this was 45, so notice that is going clockwise, right? So if I'm over here, that would give me what? Instead of 30 degrees, it'd be represented by, oh, perfect. You could use 330 or negative 30. Both of those would be the same answer. Right? But I'm good either way. But notice 45 is at the 45 mark. But when I go to 30 degrees, I'm now going to be located here. So you can either use 330 or negative 30. Both of those would be an acceptable answer. As long as you're in degrees in the calculator. So I'm actually going to do negative 30 just because for typing purposes, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to do 5 cosine negative 30 and then 5 sine negative 30. All you gotta do is just type those in the calculator. Make sure your calculator is in what mode? Why? Not exactly, but why would I need to be in degrees? Why do I need to be in degrees? Not asking for degrees because you're inputting degrees. Your stuff is in degrees, so you want to be in degrees. Oh, so you would just type it separately. So you would type that part, get the decimal, type that part, get the decimal, and then that comma this. You could do that. That's what I did in my notes, but I think on the for the final answer, I don't know, I don't remember it if it was a decimal or a do it. So if you get a decimal, try to keep it, maybe go to 3 decimal places so you don't get a rounding error, so that when you get your final do it. Perfect. There you go. So in this case, what did y'all get for the first vector? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I kept it in square root form. All right, so 5.56. No, 5 point for both, correct? What's up? So all they did was type in 8 cosine 45 and 8 sine 45, and they actually got the same answer for both, which makes sense because at 45, it's both square root 2 over 2 for both x and y. Yes, sir. What y'all get for the next one? Perfect. All right, now that you actually have the two vectors for V and W, now all you have to do is just add V plus W. So in this case, roughly, what would 4.66 and 4.33 be? Which would just be 10. Due to some rounding errors, you could put 9.99, probably still get around about the same answer. Oh, you're right. You're right. It's 7.99, so it'd be 8. Yeah, the I just added the x's. Okay. Yeah, so 5.66 plus 4.33 would give you 9.99. Technically, if you wouldn't have rounded, you would actually, the calculator would have said 10. Now, on the test, if you kept at 9.99, you probably would have got pretty darn close to the answer. I think it's a multiple choice on that one. All right. Then 5.66 minus 2.5, 3.16. All right. So then it asks you to find the magnitude. So now all you have to do, this is just part of the work. It's not even the answer yet. The question was find the magnitude of this guy. So now that you have B plus W, now you need to do 10 squared plus 3.16 squared. Oh gosh, and it says direction too. I didn't see that. Yeah, the square root of it. Yeah, that's what I got too. All right. So that's the magnitude. Direction, remember, is tan inverse of B over A. So in this case, this would be tan inverse of 3.16 over 10, whatever that is. They got 10.48. So the square root of 10 squared plus 3.16 squared. Trig button, I think it's next to the equal sign. Yeah. Six more days, guys. No, ma'am. They got me down for dual credit statistics, college algebra, and algebra 2. Honors. So I'll be teaching the little freshmen. Point 54. Honors, yeah. Next year, all Algebra 1 kids are going to be taking Algebra 2. So that's why they have me in Algebra 2, because we'll have like 17 sections of Algebra 2. Because you got to realize all freshmen will be taking it next year. And the current freshmen that will be sophomores will all be taking Algebra 2. Plus any lingering juniors or seniors that hadn't taken Algebra 2 as well. Most of everyone in Texas has already made the switch, so we decided to jump on the bandwagon as well. It makes more sense to go Algebra 1, Algebra 2, then Geometry, because Geometry would have helped y'all better for pre-cal than Algebra 2 would have. I did not know that either. Wait, for college or high school? I didn't know that. I know in college you can do that. We had a thing called a THEA, which is y'all's version of a TSI, and that placed me in calculus, but that was college calculus, not high school. Well, pre-cal is not a requirement to graduate, but since he took Algebra 1 his sophomore year, or his freshman, or his 8th grade year, well, yeah, because he's an honors kid. He has the best chance of passing. If you take Algebra 1 your 8th grade year, you have the best chance of being successful in math. In pre-cal and college, dual credit and all that stuff. Yeah. And who's exempt? Okay. Any questions on this? Now we got 17.54, but it does want the answer in like, depending on where you land. And since it's a positive number, this will just be 17.54 northeast. Because you're still in the first quadrant. Questions on that? If it was a negative, you can actually you can turn it into a positive. You just need to say southeast. If it's between 0 and 90. I was going to give it to y'all tomorrow, since that's when odd's supposed to, and then Wednesday and Thursday can be y'all's makeup, whatever y'all need days. I have nothing planned after y'all's final. Sounds good. Yeah, I just saw that this morning. Odds first, evens on Wednesday. All right, so any question number 7 on vector and magnitude? Okay, number 8 is talking about parametric equations after a transformation. So the key here is you actually got to figure out what your vector is to start. So your vector is mn. Well, it tells you right here. So what we have to do is we have to figure out what mn is. So let's do that. So mn, again, remember the formula is x2 minus x1. So what's 5 minus 2? 4 minus 1? That's it. Now let me back up. We have to find mn after the transformation. So I actually need to apply the transformation to each coordinate first. So this will be how I find my new m. So just like we did on the first question, we have to apply the transformation. So what would 1 times 2 be? Negative 1 times 1. So 2 minus 1 would be 1. So that's row times column. What's the next row times column? Perfect. So it'd just be 4. So 1, 4 would be your new point. So I want you to find mn after the transformation. That was key to that word after. Then if you do 1, negative 1, 2, 0 times 5, 4, what do you get? One, 10. Perfect. Now that you have the new points, now you can go find the line segment mn. So that would be the x1 thing. Yeah. So 1 minus 1, 0. 10 minus 4, 6. So there's your new vector after the transformation. Now, once you have this, now it wants it in parametric equation form. So remember, that was x of t, y of t equals the first point. So the first point here would actually be the new m. So in this case, that's 1, 4. Plus the vector you just got. So in this case, 0, 6. So this would be your vector here times t. All you got to do now, write that in equation form. So that would be x of t equals 1 plus 0t. Do I need to write 0t? No, so it's just equal 1. Then y of t would equal 4 plus 6t. Remember the little separation right there. Write your 2 equations. So there's a lot, it's easy, but there's like a lot of little pre-steps, because it said after you have to go find the new points first, then with the new points, find its vector, and then with the vector and the new point, apply to the parametric equation form. We good? Go ahead. Say it one more time. Oh, because you always have to use the first point. And the first point in this case was M. So we had to use the new M prime one. Actually, you know what? That's how I taught it, but I don't think it matters. I think you could have used the second point too, or any point that would have been on that line. No, it would have been a different answer, but it would have still been a parametric equation set that would have got on the same line. If we, yeah. So if I would, it would just start you on a different spot on the line. Mm-hmm. All right, number 9 is the next fun problem. It's a word problem. I'm going to try to break it down as simple as I can for you. It says a swimmer crosses a 30-foot wide river. She swims at 2 feet per second directly north, and the river currently flows east at 1.5 feet per second. I told y'all last time, if it's perfectly north, perfectly east, south, or west, we don't have to do all those 4-step process. We can just simply get the answers. So in this situation, if I wanted to know what is her resultant velocity, which is just magnitude and direction, all I got to do is the square root of both of the velocities. So in this case, that would be 2 squared plus 1.5 squared. This will give you magnitude, whatever that is. Can you not see blue? You said 2.5? Yeah, perfect. And then to find the direction, is this going to be tan inverse of B over A? This is your A, this is your B, because this is you swimming. This is the current you're going to fight against. So in this case, that would be 1.5 over 2, whatever that answer is. Does it say this one? Let's go to 2 again. Perfect. And again, since that is a positive degree between 0 and 90, you simply just need to add northeast, which makes sense because you're going north and being pushed east. You would be going in the northeast direction. Part B then says, how long does it take her to reach the opposite shore? This is as simple as you can make it. It's a 30-foot wide river. You're going at the speed of 2 feet per second. So what's 30 divided by 2? So it'd take you 15 seconds to go across the river. You'll land in a different spot. So how far downstream would you then land? To do that, simply take the 1.5 feet that you're being moved times 15. And that will tell you where downstream you ended up going. No, she would go 15 seconds across, but not perfectly. It'd be 15 seconds diagonally, but you would then be off course by so many feet. There you go. Okay. So any questions on that one? That might probably be the hardest one on the test. All right, number 10 is the last question. It's talking about a dog's motion has been modeled by a parametric equation, and it just wants you to find the speed of the dog. So when it's in, go ahead, sorry about that. Oh. Let me go back. Oh, did you get it? Okay, sorry. Okay, so when you're asked for speed, you're actually trying to find the magnitude, which is just a squared plus b squared. So that's what speed would be. Now, when it's in parametric form, do realize that this is technically the slope that's given. So this would be the a, and this would be the b. So in this case, I would just have to do 6 squared plus -3 squared. Whatever that is. Make sure you use parentheses around those negatives or just type a positive. Something like that. Is as far as I got with it. So again, if you don't know how to round, you would just find the decimal, find out whatever other decimal the answers are. Any questions on the test? That's, yeah, question 10, and then you notice there's no questions after that. Yeah, I said number 9 was hardest. But yes, so this is pretty much everything that we covered all semester. Go ahead. Usually, I feel like in the past, it's always got the unit on the answer, so I don't think you have to stress about that. But in college, you will. I've marked a lot off because of it. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And you can use calculator, decimals, whatever you need. Any other questions? Yes, all yours to study and review.